The Los Angeles Lakers are known as the most decorated franchise in the NBA. We have seen so many legendary players wear the purple and gold. So the question is, who should be considered as the greatest Lakers players ever? Not counting what they did with any other franchise, but with the Lakers alone. We're going to count down which players deserve to be mentioned among the best of the best since 1960, which was the year the Lakers started playing in LA. We want to look at their tenure there, the numbers they recorded, and of course, the number of banners they helped raise. This is all coming from a lifelong Lakers fan, so just a warning, I'm going to say we a lot. I'm not French, I'm just a big Lakers fan. Let's begin the countdown. Number 30, we have Vlade Divac. Did you know that he played 7 years with the Lakers? If you were a fan of this team during the 90s, then you remember how valuable he was after the Showtime era concluded. In fact, they reached the playoffs nearly every year that he was there. He was a great post-up player, he had great court vision, and he was an underrated rim protector. The 1994-95 season was his peak, as he averaged a career-high 16 points on 50% shooting, 10.4 rebounds, 4.1 assists, and 2.2 blocks per game. We also don't want to forget that he played an important role in LA reaching the finals in 1991. I must admit, I almost penalized him for playing with the Sacramento Kings and becoming the greatest flopper of all time. But then I remembered he helped bring in Kobe Bryant, so it all evens out. Number 29, we have Metta World Peace. He played 6 seasons for the Lakers, but none was more memorable than the 2010 season. Some of his memorable moments include making the game-winning shot against the Phoenix Suns. This occurred in Game 5 of the conference finals. Then the following game, he stepped up big time. Pau Gasol only had 9 points on 2 of 9 shooting, but the Lakers were still able to win the series-clinching game. They move on to the finals thanks to Ron's 25 points on 10 of 16 shooting. And of course, we can't forget the unforgettable three-pointer he made in Game 7 of the finals with a minute left to help clinch the title. Did you know that he also had 5 steals that game? There's no question that we don't win that year without his gutsy play and tough defense. Number 28, we have Rudy LaRusso. That's right, we're not going to forget the true OGs. He was a star power forward between 1961 to 1967. I use the term star power forward loosely, but it should be noted that he made 3 All-Star appearances during his time with the team. He peaked in 1962 when he averaged 17.2 points on 47% shooting and 10.4 rebounds per game. He upped his game with Elgin Baylor gone, fulfilling his Army duties. He even went for his career high of 50 points and 19 rebounds in the final game of the year with both Jerry West and Elgin out. He played a key part in the Lakers reaching the finals in 4 of the 7 years he played for the team, but he usually underperformed with Bill Russell guarding the middle. Number 27, we have Andrew Bynum. For a 7-year Lakers career, he won 2 titles and was an All-Star in 2012. He would show flashes of greatness, but injuries would always seem to stop his progress. But when he was on the court, he gave the Lakers a size advantage that no other team had. With him and Pau Gasol, their front line was as good as any other team during that time. He played a big part in LA being a top 6 defense in their 2 title runs. He had a very fluid inside game. However, let's keep in mind that in the 2009 and 2010 playoffs, he was their 6th leading scorer. His best years came the next 2 seasons before the Lakers sent him away to bring in Dwight Howard. Number 26, we have Happy Hairston. He was there from 1970 to 1975. So that means he was a part of the legendary 1972 team that won 69 games and won 33 straight. They say every great team needs a glue guy, and Happy was that guy for them. He complimented Wilt Chamberlain very well on the front line. This is what longtime Lakers announcer Chick Hearn said to ESPN about him in 2001. Quote, "He was one of the most fierce rebounders the Lakers have ever had. He was tough, he was a leaper, he was very competitive and a good teammate." End of quote. He was guaranteed to give you about 15 points and 13 rebounds every game, and that's about what he did during the 1972 title run. He averaged 13.5 points and 13 rebounds. Number 25, we have Nick Van Exel. Here's my hot take for this video. He was Allen Iverson before Allen Iverson. His ball handling, scoring, and playmaking abilities were as good as any player during this time. No defender was safe from getting completely humiliated. That includes arguably the best defensive player to ever play the point guard position, Gary Payton. He seemed to play his best when being guarded by the glove. The best example of this came in the 1995 first round series against the Sonics. He averaged 24.8 points on 50% shooting. He also shot 42% from the three on 8.2 attempts per game. His talent alone secures him a spot on this list. But this franchise is all about rings, or at least contending for one. The fact that he never helped the Lakers reach the finals is what prevents him from going any further. Number 24, we have Jim McMillan. He was with the Lakers for only 3 seasons, but he played a huge role for the legendary 1972 championship team. He was the third leading scorer. He averaged 18.8 points per game on 48% shooting and 6.5 rebounds. He filled the void for this team after Elgin Baylor announced his retirement early in the season. His youth, energy, and ability to go up and down the court are what allowed this team to have the best offense in the league. As far as clutch performances, he had the game of his life when he scored 42 points on 64% shooting in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. They won by 1 point against Kareem and the defending champions Milwaukee Bucks. If it wasn't for him, they would have most likely been down 2-0 in the series and they might have never won the title. Number 23, we have Eddie Jones. For the 4.5 years he played with LA, he averaged 15.2 points and 2.1 steals. He was also a 2-time All-Star. We're not going to see a player who had multiple All-Star appearances until we get deeper in the ranking. That's the type of talent that we're talking about here. He was very quiet off the court, but his game spoke volumes. He was one of the best two-way guards in the late 90s. He had a sweet outside stroke as he averaged 38% from the three during his 4 full seasons. You had to respect his outside shot, but he could also burn you with his crazy athleticism. He really had all the tools to be great. It was a mental aspect of the game that made him disappear in big moments in the playoffs. Number 22, we have Rick Fox. He was one of the leaders of a team that won 3 straight titles in the early 2000s. He had an important locker room presence that brought a lot of stability whenever Kobe and Shaq would bump heads. As far as his play on the court, he was more than capable of holding his own on the scoring end, and he was a valuable piece to their strong defensive play. I think he was a respectable individual defender who helped alleviate some of Kobe's load so he could have enough energy to take over games. The best example of that came in their dominant 2001 playoff run. He averaged 10 points, 4.9 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 1.9 steals for that postseason. Number 21, we have Bob McAdoo. The Lakers got the former MVP for nothing in the middle of the 1981-82 season. All they gave up was a second-round draft pick. Everyone else was ready to give up on him. But McAdoo showed a lot of maturity by accepting his role of coming off the bench. And he might have been the most dangerous sixth man we have ever seen. Take for example the 1982 Conference Final Series against the Spurs. He averaged 20 points on 58% shooting, 7.3 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game. He was their third leading scorer. Again, he was coming off the bench. This dude was the definition of instant offense, and he gave the Lakers a weapon that no other team had. He was a shooting big man who could run the floor and give space for Kareem to dominate on the post. In the end, he added 2 titles to his legendary resume. Number 20, we have AC Green. For his 9-year career in LA, he won 3 titles. He was an All-NBA defender in 1989, and he was an All-Star in 1990. He was a power forward who ran the break extremely well and could bang down low with the best of them. He was even their leading rebounder from 1987 to 1990. To give an idea of how much he contributed to this team, check out his stat line for their 1987 title run. He averaged 11.5 points on 54% shooting and 7.9 rebounds per game. I wasn't alive during that time, but I remember vividly his contributions to the 2000 title season. He brought veteran leadership, and his mid-range corner shot was automatic. But most importantly, that green beanie baby was our version of the cigar Red Auerbach used to smoke. Once that was on top of his head, you knew the game was in the refrigerator. Number 19, we have Michael Cooper. He is a lifelong Laker. He never played for any other team. For his 12-year career, he helped us win 5 titles. How important was he for all those championships? Well, Kareem described him as a true swingman, a backup point guard, a three-point shooter, and a true stopper. Coach Pat Riley even called him one of the most versatile players to ever play in the league. This is according to Sports Illustrated. Aside from the testimonials, look at some of the things he accomplished. He won the Defensive Player of the Year award in 1987. He is an 8-time All-NBA defender. Then the 1987 playoffs, he averaged 13 points, 5 assists, 3.3 rebounds, and he shot 48% from the three. If there was a Hall of Fame for role players, he would easily be first ballot. Number 18, we have Robert Horry. We all know why he's this deep in the countdown. Before we get to that, let me just say that he was an incredibly underrated stretch 4 player. He could spread the floor with his outside shooting to give the big fella all the space he needed to dominate the paint. He also did a commendable job with guarding all the elite power forwards that we had to face in the playoffs. But more importantly, he's in the conversation for the most clutch player ever. There are so many times where he made a back-breaking three-pointer in the closing moments of a huge game, or he made a game-winning shot in the playoffs. None was bigger than the iconic buzzer beater that he made against the Sacramento Kings in the 2002 Conference Finals. Again, this was facilitated by Vlade Divac. I just knew I couldn't snub him from this list. Number 17, we have Lamar Odom. Even in the 2000s, he was way ahead of his time. This was a 6'10" power forward who could run the floor and handle the ball like a point guard. He gave the Lakers so much versatility and flexibility. I think he was our biggest X factor, and he would usually come through in big games. During his 7-year Laker career, he averaged 13.7 points on 49% shooting, 9.5 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game. Aside from the 2 titles that he helped his team win, he also won the 6th Man of the Year award in 2011. For that season, he finished in the top 15 in win shares. That's very impressive for someone who was coming off the bench. It didn't matter what role you put him in, he was going to excel. Number 16, we have Derek Fisher. This goes beyond the numbers and the 5 titles that he has to his name. The value that he brought to the Lakers is something that can't be quantified with numbers. Phil Jackson said it best when he described him as a natural leader with exceptional emotional intelligence and finely tuned management skills. To be the floor general of a dynasty, that's exactly what you need. Beyond the intangibles, Fisher has a long list of legendary clutch moments in the playoffs. That includes his iconic 0.4 shot in the 2004 playoffs. And if you want numbers, he averaged in double figures for 3 of the 5 title runs he was a part of. The 2001 playoffs were undoubtedly his greatest year, as he averaged 13.4 points while shooting 51.5% from the 3. They were literally unbeatable because Fisher was their 3rd star for a brief period. Number 15, we have Byron Scott. He might not have the number of titles that Derek Fisher has. He won 3 titles. But here's the difference. In their 1988 title season, he led the team in scoring throughout the regular season. He averaged his career high of 27.7 points per game on nearly 53% shooting. During this time, he earned the reputation of being one of the best outside shooters, and that opened up the floor for Magic Johnson and James Worthy. In fact, there were 3 times where he shot over 40% from the 3. But don't let his size fool you. He also had the reputation on dunking on any player. And from an analytical standpoint, he ranks 10th all time for the highest career win shares in franchise history. I think he has been the most underrated player from the Showtime era. Number 14, we have Norm Nixon. For a 6-year career with the Lakers, he won 2 titles and he was an All-Star in 1982. He averaged a combined 16.4 points and 7.9 assists. Let's just get one thing straight. The Showtime era began in the fall of 1979. Magic Johnson, even as a rookie, was the face of that new and exciting era. But that explosive offense doesn't click without his services. He gave the Lakers a look that no other team has had before or since. We're talking about 2 elite point guards coexisting on the court together. The difference between him and Magic was that he was a more complete scorer during that time. Take for example their 1982 championship season. In the playoffs, he led the team in scoring. He averaged 20.4 points along with 8.1 assists. He didn't always get the proper recognition with all the talent this team had, but he had so much game. Number 13, we have Jamal Wilkes. He was an automatic bucket. He could score whenever he wanted, and he made it look so effortless. Chick Hearn used to call his jump shot 20-foot layups. He was just a perfect complement for both Magic Johnson and Norm Nixon. He could run the break extremely well, and he could also score in the half-court setting. But he was more than just a scorer. He was an underrated rebounder and an excellent defender. He peaked in 1981 when he averaged a career-high 22.6 points per game on 52% shooting. In the playoffs, he averaged over 20 points in their 1980 and 1982 championship runs. It should be noted that although he played for the Lakers in 1985, he got hurt in the middle of the season and did not play in the playoffs. He technically won 3 rings with the team, but it should come with context. Number 12, we have Anthony Davis. We're talking about a top 75 player. He won a championship in 2020. During that playoff run at Disney World, he was arguably the Lakers' most valuable player. That's how dominant he was. He averaged 27.7 points on 57% shooting, 9.7 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. He was the team's leading scorer and he had the highest win shares. If we're talking about players at their peak, he is easily top 10 worthy. But since then, he just can't stay on the court. He has missed 113 games in 4 seasons. This future Hall of Famer has been selected as an All-Star only twice. He simply hasn't accomplished enough to be in the top 10 of this exclusive club. He doesn't have the tenure or the accolades to receive that kind of respect yet. Number 11, we have Gail Goodrich. Don't let his looks fool you. He might look like one of the lost members of the Monkees, but his accolades speak for themselves. For his 9-year career with the Lakers, he was selected to be an All-Star 4 times. That's twice as many as Anthony Davis. There were 2 seasons where he averaged over 25 points per game. His peak came in the legendary 1972 season. He was the leading scorer for a team that won 69 games, and he was the only player to average over 20 points in the finals. Wilt Chamberlain even called him the star of the team for his scoring ability. He was great at moving out the ball and finding open space for his sweet jumper. He was perfect for Coach Bill Sharman's run and gun style of offense, and this super team was able to peak in large part because of him. Number 10, we have Pau Gasol. He's one of the most skilled big men that the Lakers have ever had. His versatility allowed him to excel in the triangle offense. He had a large array of low post moves, he had a soft outside touch, he had excellent court vision, and he was an underrated defender. You could play big with him on the court, and you could play small with him. It's no wonder that he led the Lakers in win shares in his first 4 full seasons. But most importantly, he showed up when it mattered the most. He averaged nearly 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks for their 2 title runs. Even while playing against Dwight Howard and Kevin Garnett in the finals, he was able to exert his will against those legendary big men. At this moment, he's the greatest power forward in Laker history, and it doesn't seem like that's going to change anytime soon. Number 9, we have James Worthy. Magic Johnson couldn't ask for a better running mate during the 80s. He was unstoppable on the open court, and he was an aggressive finisher. That might have been his call to fame, but he didn't always need Magic to score. He was proficient in the mid-range, and he was a great post-up player. But the reason he's this high is because he was a legendary playoff performer. Take the 1987 playoffs when he averaged 23.6 points on 59% shooting. That includes averaging over 30 points in their conference finals matchup against the Sonics. And of course, he won Finals MVP in the legendary 1988 Finals against the Detroit Pistons. In Game 7, he goes for 36 points on 68% shooting, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists. It remains as one of the most clutch performances ever, and that's what Big Game James was all about. Number 8, we have Wilt Chamberlain. This was the player who started the tradition of megastars moving to the bright lights of LA to win championships. He was 32 years old in his first season with the Lakers, so he was no longer in his prime. He was more than capable of recording incredible numbers, but he was mainly trying to fit in with Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. That explains why he averaged a combined 17.7 points on 60% shooting, 19.2 rebounds, and 4.3 assists for the 5 seasons he was there. Even in his advanced age, he was a defensive beast and an incredibly efficient low-post player. But you can say that his tenure with the Lakers was bittersweet. He choked in the 1969 Finals, and he was outplayed by Willis Reed in the 1970 Finals. He just didn't know when to be aggressive and when to defer to his teammates. They had all the talent in the world to be a dynasty, but Wilt couldn't meet the expectations that the NBA world had for them. Winning one title should be considered an underachievement. Number 7, we have LeBron James. There are so many similarities between the King and Wilt. He joined the Lakers in the latter part of his career. He has one title, one Finals MVP, and he has played 5 full seasons with the Lakers at this point. But his numbers are much better. He has averaged a combined 27.4 points on 50% shooting, 8.1 assists, and 8 rebounds per game. But even with his one title, can we also say that he has underachieved? Depending on who you ask, the answer is yes. He has failed to reach the playoffs twice, and he was bounced from the first round in 2021. The Lakers have averaged a 53.8 win percentage since he's joined, which equals about 44 wins. The reality is that the Lakers have been nowhere near dominant with the exception of the 2020 season. That's why he should be snubbed from reaching the top 5. But that doesn't mean that he hasn't fulfilled his duties of delivering a title. He is undoubtedly a Laker legend. Number 6, we have Elgin Baylor. By all estimations, he's the greatest player to never win an NBA title. The impact that he has brought not only to this franchise, but to the league is paramount. He was the first player to ever play above the rim, which made him the blueprint for every dominant wing player that's ever existed since then. His style of play was simply revolutionary. The numbers speak for themselves. There were 3 seasons where he averaged over 34 points. There were 4 seasons where he finished in the top 5 in rebounds. In fact, he's the franchise leader in rebounds. And he helped lead the Lakers to 7 trips to the finals. In the legendary 1962 series, he averaged over 40 points and 17 rebounds per game. Come on, we're not going to blame him for coming up short. Although he was always dominant, he can never overcome their weaknesses at the center position. That's the biggest reason why they can never defeat Bill Russell and the Celtics. But without any rings, we simply can't rank him in the top 5. Number 5, we have Jerry West. This player is the embodiment of how you're supposed to perform and conduct yourself while playing for such a historic franchise. Let's first start with the accolades. He won a title. He won Finals MVP in 1969. He made the All-Star 14 times, the All-NBA First Team 10 times. He won a scoring title, and he led the league in assists in the record-breaking 1972 season. Although he went 1-8 in the finals, it wasn't because he underperformed. Did you know that he recorded 10 40-point games in the finals alone? Or that he averaged a combined 32.9 points per game on 48% shooting for the 6 times he's played against the Celtics in the finals? He just had the misfortune of playing in the wrong era. But that doesn't take away from the incredibly clutch performer that he was. The fact that no one blames him for losing so much in the finals proves how much we respect this legend. Number 4, we have Shaquille O'Neal. There was no one that was more dominant than Shaq was in big moments. If we're talking players at their peak, you can make the strong case that his 2000 MVP season was the greatest individual season by a Laker ever. And I know what Justin Bieber said. Never say never. I get it. But we're never going to see a more physically imposing player in our lifetime to wear the purple and gold. He was such a cheat code that I felt a bit of sympathy for 87% of the teams. The exceptions were the Kings, Blazers, and Spurs, of course. Speaking of dominance, he's the only player, along with some guy named Michael Jordan, to win 3 straight Finals MVPs. On a less impressive note, he also led the league in field goal percentage in 6 of the 8 years he was with LA. The only thing that is holding him back is that he wasn't with the team for nearly as long as the next 3 players. Number 3, we have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. His career with the Lakers alone is enough to put him in the GOAT conversation. In 14 years, he won 5 titles, 3 MVPs, and 1 Finals MVP, although it should have been 2. Where he ultimately ranks in this list is up for debate, and it just depends on your perspective. We all get that this is subjective, but what's unquestionable is that there was no one more reliable than Kareem. Even when he was playing in his 40s, there was no one that could stop his skyhook. He bailed his team out countless times when they were in need for a bucket. He was also reliable in the fact that he hardly missed any games. Did you know that he never missed more than 6 games in a season, apart from 2 years? It's crazy that he was 33 years old when he won his first title with the Lakers in 1980, and he was able to play at an all-star level for the rest of the decade. So why not rank him any higher? It's for this reason. For the last 2 titles he won, he averaged a combined 16.3 points and 6 rebounds per game. When he won the title in 1988, he was 40 years old. He just wasn't at the level as the next 2 players who were at their peak when they won all 5 championships. Number 2, we have Kobe Bryant. 20 years with the Lakers, and he gave us countless iconic moments. 5 titles and 7 finals appearances. 2 scoring titles, 2 finals MVPs, 1 regular season MVP. He had the greatest scoring season in franchise history in 2006. In fact, we've seen him score over 33,000 points. I think there's no question that he's the greatest scorer in Lakers history. On top of that, I believe he's the greatest two-way player to ever wear the purple and gold. His 9 All-NBA defensive first-team selections would attest to how great of an individual defender he was. Then we have the intangibles. We're talking about his killer mentality, how he could force his will on any game and take over with his legendary scoring outburst, how he can make any shot on the floor even while being defended by multiple players. He has my vote for being the most skilled player in Lakers history. So why isn't he number 1? Because he's not as accomplished as Magic Johnson, and I think his peak was slightly worse. We'll get to that in a second. He certainly has longevity over Magic, but let's take something important into consideration. For Kobe's first 3 seasons, he wasn't considered an All-NBA player. Then for his last 3 seasons, he was a shell of himself due to injuries. So if we compare those 14 seasons to Magic's 13-year career, I think Johnson accomplished a little bit more. I'm a huge Kobe fan. In my heart, he's number 1. But my head says to listen to the old heads. Number 1, we have Magic Johnson. We witnessed the greatest point guard to ever play the game. We witnessed the greatest showman the league has ever seen. He is also the greatest winner in Lakers history. Forget about the 5 championships and 9 finals appearances and the 3 finals MVPs. Forget about the 3 regular season MVPs for a second. Did you know that he has never won fewer than 53 games in a season? He led the Lakers to 6 60-win seasons. In fact, before his first retirement, the Lakers averaged 59.3 wins per season. On top of that, he was a legendary playoff performer. He has the most assists in playoff and final history by a landslide. He has the most triple-doubles in playoff history. He also has some iconic moments in the finals. I mentioned that his peak was slightly better than Kobe's. If you want proof, then look no further to his 1987 MVP season. It is unquestionably the greatest season by a point guard. The numbers that he recorded in the regular season, playoffs, and the finals are something that no other player has come close to touching. But we also want to mention the intangibles. Before Magic arrived, the Lakers were very similar to how we view the New York Knicks now. They were the NBA's biggest draw, but only because they were a big market team. Sure, they won 6 titles, but 5 of those came when they were playing in Minneapolis. Then Magic came along, and he made them the most recognized team in basketball. He established a standard and a tradition that no other team has. We want to win, but let's have fun while we're at it. I have to give credit to the player who started the greatest show on earth. As a recap, here are the top 10 players in Laker history. Number 10, Pau Gasol. Number 9, James Worthy. Number 8, Will Chamberlain. Number 7, LeBron James. Number 6, Elgin Baylor. Number 5, Jerry West. Number 4, Shaquille O'Neal. Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 2, Kobe Bryant. Number 1, Magic Johnson. Do you agree with this list, or who would you have number 1? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.